Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Lost Wisdom of the Grail Tele-Summit. Now today I have a very special lady for you. Her name is Anaiya Sophia, and she is an independent mystic of an almost forgotten faith. She is also the author of 7 books and a teacher of Kundalini Yoga, and carries an oral transmission from the sacred feminine mysteries, which she weaves into all of her work. I highly recommend you visit her website because it's a wonderful resource of all that she does and a great repository of wisdom for those who want to explore more of her work. Anaiya, welcome.
Thank you so much. It is indeed a great, great honor to be here with you and everyone else.
Well, I'm so pleased that you've actually taken up the offer to do this, because I just feel like you resonate with the whole theme of the Grail so beautifully in all the work you do.
Thank you so much.
Now today you're going to talk to us about, and I love the title of this talk, the fierce, fierce feminine, sounding in her new world. Do you want to sort of just tell us a bit about what exactly you mean by that?
Yes. So this body of work is still very juvenile, still very young in its coming in, but I believe I'm able to touch on the surface of it. So my contemplation is that we all have an innate task or quest to birth this fierce feminine evolutionary shift that we're all in. We're all in. We cannot escape. It's happening anyway. Mm-hmm. And we have something to bring into our local or larger community. Mm-hmm. And as we reach for this, we too will grow tremendously. So it's a win-win situation. We have to grow to reach for it, and then we offer it to our nearest and dearest. And it will be a pearl of her embodied wisdom. Right. So it can either be a spoken teaching or innovation. It could be a medicinal healing practice or touch. It could be something for the garden. It could be something for the children. Yeah. But we will have to reach for it. And that is what I mean by sounding in her wisdom, because it's not necessarily a voice. Yeah. I talk so much about fierce feminine, one woman's journey to find her authentic voice. I'm not finding a voice. What I'm finding is invitations to be extra daring and courageous and dare to share what I humbly am receiving. Right. And the more I speak to my peers about that, the more they say, yes, me too. Yes, yes. So it's about finding courage to actually see if I've got this right, to find the gifts that are within, to listen, to really, really listen in a way that's beyond the ears, really. Absolutely. And that's where we need our mystical skills of being able, number one, to find the time. Yes. Because when I say the matrix, I'm calling that the dwindling powers that be. And also, of course, like the movie, The Matrix. Yeah. The matrix is invested in keeping us busy. Yes. And so we will have to go against that innate tendency to find that time, learn how to go deep, learn how to switch off the monkey mind, learn how to find that deep, velvety blackness on the inside that is rich with contemplation and reflection and wisdom, and a little bit of discipline to slow the breath down and to learn how to navigate on the inside without passing out. Yeah. And all of these beautiful practices are out there. It's actually, when you decide, I truly want to know what my inner sacred gift is, it is actually very quickly given. Right. The hard work, the delay tactic is getting around to actually do it. Yes, and I think we've all been there. It's kind of like, I've got too much to do, or, chatter in the mind, or, And it's almost a form of self-sabotage, isn't it? In that there's a part of you
I mean, you may say I seek change, but there's a part of you that doesn't want it. You know, we do find, as a species, we find change very difficult to navigate. So there's always a part holding back, even though your rational mind may be saying, this is what I want. So you've got to look at the underlying issues that may be holding you back from it.
Absolutely. And I also believe in a very grounded, very mature way that there are forces woven into this matrix that are anti-awakening.
Yes, yes.
Back in the day, we would call them archons. So an archonic influence, just to sort of prey on that human mind and kind of sway it this way and that way. But of course, we will have a wound on the inside that allows that influence to take grip. So it is a sabotage for sure. But I do believe there are forces. There's always been forces out there.
Yeah.
Any Gnostic will tell us that. And it's part of creation. So to learn to live alongside these forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I call them the Dark Empire. But it's the lower emotions, it's the dense vibration, the lower emotions, the negative emotions that really is where they're trying to keep people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So you know, the anger, depression, all negativity, all of those. And I mean, you only have to switch the radio on, you know, to feel yourself being sucked into that vortex, really.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So it's about cultivating awareness at that level of what it is that pulls you down.
Yes, yes, and that that upsurge, that determination to grow, to develop the soul's gifts, to develop the deeper understanding of all things, to slow down.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I have to do is actually slow down how fast I speak. You can choose your words, you know, deliberately. Take people on a journey with the communication. And I do believe communication is going to be a huge aspect of this, excuse me, feminine rising.
Yeah.
We're going to be speaking differently, possibly with a different tone, a different harmonic. The words will touch us emotionally and spiritually. It's not going to be just a black and white logic anymore.
Yeah. Well, words have power, don't they?
They do have power, especially if you're behind what you're saying.
Yeah.
Your soul and heart and soul is behind those words. Oh my gosh, you can transform.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Or destroy, and it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, being aware.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, you know, the fierce feminine, you're saying, find that within you in order to carry this forwards. So how would someone do that?
Well, I've actually come up with a little 7-step template.
Ooh, wonderful.
Associated with the 7 chakras, so the 7 psycho-spiritual centers in us all. And when I say feminine, I don't mean woman.
Yep.
I mean the feminine nature within us all. So I would say for the root, this is where we have a responsibility to find the sacred gifts that go out into community that God or Source has placed within us. We all have something to add to this great cauldron that's being stirred slowly and gorgeously at the moment.
I think we all sense at some level there's potential within us.
Yes.
Deep potential within us, and it's finding that. And of course, we live in a society that really doesn't have structures in place to enable that very easily.
Yes, yes. And if you're, you know, sitting on the fence, thinking, shall I or shan't I? Then what I'm putting in this book that I'm writing at the moment are my 13 great sorrows.
Yeah.
The things that move me the most are animals. So, you know, I'm peppering this book with things like dairy farming, canned hunting.
Yeah.
And that's the big energies that make me go, I will stand up and share.
Yeah. Mm.
So, yeah, let that be an inspiration for listeners. Now, for the second chakra, is where I feel we have to be very aware of who we are sharing sexual energy with.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we feel we're losing something when we share sexually, then that is going to dampen and diminish what we found in that root chakra.
Yeah.
Hopefully our partners will be someone that inspires and gives a sense of energy and delight and fuel for the fire, so to speak. So I always say to men and women, make sure you're not on autopilot when you agree to exchange.
Yes. Yes.
And please be very aware of the environment that you're making love in, because an environment can also sap your creative energy.
Yes, very true.
And again, Matrix, very interested in keeping us in that sort of lower vibration of the sex.
Yeah.
Keep them busy with all of that rubbish.
And a lot of people listening may not be aware that when two people come together sexually, they exchange energy bonds, energy cords, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the woman, so I've been taught through the yogic practice, the woman, because she's the receptacle, she's the receptive vessel, she will keep a little energetic snapshot of the emotional and spiritual tone of the partner and the environment that it happened in.
Yeah.
So if this is a quickie, so to speak, in a rushed manner, then that anxiety, the anxiety of the quickness of it all, and oh my God, are we going to get caught? That stays inside until consciously removed.
Yeah. So if you were to think of it as every sexual partner you've ever had, you're going to be wearing a badge.
Yes.
Choose your badges wisely.
Choose your badges wisely. Know how to authentically remove the badge.
Yeah.
Okay, going into the third chakra, this is very much about being willing to be accountable. Are we taking more than we need? If we live in the West, the answer is most likely going to be a yes.
Yeah.
We are consumerholics.
Yeah.
So, you know, tapping into that solar plexus, we must be accountable for everything we're buying, the way we're living, our rubbish, our refuge, our electricity, our petrol, our oil. We must be accountable. Are we taking what is needed? Yeah. Or do we have this excessive surplus? Nothing's going to change if we keep on having that sort of entitlement of the Western world.
Yeah, it's about living lightly, isn't it?
Yes.
On the planet. Yeah. And leaving, you know, my philosophy is to try to leave it a better place at some level than I found it. And I think if each of us did what you're saying and took that philosophy, the world would be a very different place, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, it's all very well. I mean, we've had something on the radio today saying they're banning plastic straws, or they're thinking about banning. You know, there's always this great time lag. They're thinking about banning plastic straws and things, but it's kind of like, yeah, but you don't have to wait for it to be law. You can do it now.
Yes.
You can make choices now. You know, you don't have to wait for the government to make these changes. Empower yourself. Take the decision yourself.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Yeah.
For the fourth one, the heart, realizing that vulnerability and humility are great aspects of our spiritual evolution. I see a lot of people reaching for the downloads, reaching for the betterment, the ability to shine and be radiant. And of course, that is glorious.
Yeah.
Must always also make sure we're really becoming vulnerable, humble, unprotected, restoring innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just loving more.
Yeah.
Dogs help.
Yes, they do. We both have dogs.
Yes, dogs really help with that one.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, you said they're loving more. I mean, one of the things, you can't love with a closed heart. No. So this is where becoming open and becoming more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And one thing that, you know, I have to, I really have to say to people, because you know, I came from a very closed-in space, you know, when I first started on this journey, very closed in. I have wonderful, you know, fortresses around me. And the thought of being vulnerable was really, really scary. But what I actually found is it takes great strength to be vulnerable, so that it's not weakness at all.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The fifth chakra, obviously the throat.
Yeah.
We must simply tell the truth, the absolute truth, the truth of our feelings, the truth of our thoughts, the truth of our decisions and actions. And we must refuse to keep secrets.
Yeah.
And every family has a whole bunch of skeletons in them. Should you get presented with the opportunity to speak truth, grab it with both hands, because you are then helping yourself to be in integrity.
Yes.
We don't, I only realized myself that little last sentence, that by telling the truth, if I've been out of integrity in the past, I'm now being given a chance to bring that past integrous act back into alignment, impeccability.
Yeah, it's something you can redeem, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Bring yourself back in. Yeah.
Yep. Skeletons in the closet, secrets.
Yeah.
Don't feel that they are, you know, solidly in place and will never get healed or will never be spoken. It's quite amazing what happens when you say to God, the divine, I'm willing to tell the truth on everything, starting from this moment.
Yeah.
And things will start shaping. And you will get invitations every day.
Yes.
To stand for that.
And the testing in that will be, are you good for your word?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you lie to yourself about what you're willing to do?
Yes.
That's always the first test, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. The sixth one, the third eye.
Yep.
Turning back to our intuition. Trusting that, seeking it out on purpose, moving away from the tendency to think and overthink. But as we said at the beginning of the conversation, developing that deep navigation to sleuth around on the inside for your own mystical wisdom and the truth of what's really going on you know, between two people, or what is the energy really speaking of in this environment. So rather than keep going out there for the answers, turn those eyes in and start sleuthing around and trusting that, even if at first it sounds a little bit peculiar or outlandish. Trust your intuition.
And I think that's one of the things I found very difficult, is because, you know, from a childhood onwards, every time your intuition spoke up, it was, oh, don't be so stupid, or, you know, there was a putting down and a subduing at some level.
Yes.
And turning all of that conditioning around, so that actually that gut feel, or that knowing, that inner knowing, and you don't just hear it, listen to it, but you act on it.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of practice when it's been put down. And
usually when the intuition speaks up, you are going to be the only one that either says anything or makes a different action to the group, because the group are probably still under the spell of the matrix.
Yes.
You know, the powers that keep us all sheep-like. Suddenly your intuition speaks up and you realize, oh God, I'm going to be the only one. And yes, Yes, you will be at first.
And that's the whole point.
Great. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, one of the sheep has to break free. Why
Absolutely.
not you? Why not you? Because then you can show the others how it's done.
That's right. And they'll see you standing on your own.
Yeah.
Then next time when it's their turn, they'll remember, wow, someone else went first. I can do this too.
Yeah.
And then finally, the 7th step is to really genuinely find your faith, your one-to-one, reliable and dependable connection to God, to Source. And it's not new agey, it's not fluffy, it's not a gimmick. It is probably something you found when you were a child.
Yeah.
Very sincere, very deep, very meaningful. And that, by golly, that needs to be nourished every day.
Yeah. So for those who say, I have no faith, or I've lost my faith.
Well, perhaps turn to nature.
Yeah.
For those of us who tasted it as a child, it may well have come in through a religious path.
Yeah.
For instance, mine came in through the Christian church, although I wasn't a Catholic or a Christian.
Yeah.
One of my parents was heavily into the Christian faith, and I got my little inroad that way. And then I made it my own, because I wasn't going to church or following the traditional path, but that the Christ had touched me.
Yes.
So, and that's what I had to return to. All of these new age gimmicks that I started tasting in my 20s meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
So I went back to my little girl connection.
Yeah.
And just restored that.
Yes.
Now to myself as an adult. Nature most definitely is a place where you can find a faith for the very, very first time.
Yes. Find the divine in nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Slow everything down. Slow your breathing down. Hopefully you'll start to feel an energetic between you and the trees, the grass, the flowers, the woodland, the lake. And then I do believe what humans need to feel the most is the fact that they, A, belong, and B, are genuinely being held.
Yeah.
When you start to feel that embrace, then the heart can start melting.
Yes. Yeah.
Then the beautiful tears can start coming. And then you realize, whoa, I have a connection.
Yeah. Yes. And you realize you're part of something bigger than just you.
Absolutely.
And it's once we restore that, we look around at what is being done in, in our name, really, to the planet.
Yes.
And to other animals and other human beings as well. And it's kind of like, this is not acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What you do out there, you actually do to yourself. And this is what I call the wasteland of the Grail. It's not just a plundering and a pillaging of the planet, and a desecration of nature. There's an inner void that opens up within us that reflects what's out there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I remember last week, Friday the 13th, actually, I was walking around this gorgeous lake down here in the south of France. And something wasn't right. Nature was turbulent, the weather was turbulent, and there was kind of like a psychic anxiety all day long. Came home, switched on the internet, and realized that France had joined with the UK and the US and had decided to bomb Syria.
Yeah.
That is what I was feeling for sure. And then I think, my tax money goes into the buying of that weaponry. So in some way, I am, like us all, connected to those bombs going up to that country.
Yeah.
And yes, I was so, of course, incredibly angry, but there was no word, no sense, no perfume of that in the French news. Usually you can tell, can't you, when your country is building up to go to war.
Yes.
There was nothing. This one seemed to come out of the blue.
Yeah. Mm.
And it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay, but I often ask myself, how on earth, how are we going to make our move, us people? How are we going to make our move? And I realize it is slowly, slowly, slowly happening.
Yeah.
The biggest threat to the matrix is the feminine.
Mm.
What is it that the feminine does best? She gathers people.
Yes.
She shares ideas and innovations. She nurtures ideas and innovations. She gathers people together to cross-pollinate. And, you know, I'll give you apples if you give me carrots.
Yeah.
We just self-sustain our small little community until it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And we do our very best not to take from the matrix where it's not necessary.
Mm.
And that is what I live with day by day as I see the crazy news of what's happening in the old world.
Mm.
Yeah, that's all I have so far.
Yeah.
How I'm living at the moment.
So making different choices from an aware perspective. Yeah. And
really sharing our ideas.
Not being afraid to stand up. Yeah, this is the fierce feminine. And you know, we often think of the feminine as being pink and fluffy, you know, and we're certainly, you know, there's a conditioning around the feminine being weaker and things like that, but it's not. Think of a mother defending her cub. Think about how fiercely something you really want you would fight for. There is a warrior energy, or there can be a warrior energy to the feminine, but it's tempered with compassion.
Yes.
And it's tempered with love. It comes from the right place. It's
Absolutely.
not about destruction. It's about protection and enabling and empowering and building up.
Absolutely. There's a myth that the fierce feminine is an angry woman, angry and hysterical woman. But what I've noticed when I feel that upsurge of, you know, sacred call for justice, I'm not aiming that energy at one person.
Yeah.
You know, even Donald Trump, I wouldn't aim it at him because it's wider than that.
Yeah.
It's like a tidal wave of no.
Yes.
That no doesn't want to harm anybody.
It wants to draw a line in the sand.
No. Yeah, that's right. It just ends here and now.
Yeah.
No one is getting judged and blamed or even criticized. That's the amazing thing.
Yeah.
When I'm personally angry, oh yes, there's a lot of judgment, blame and criticism going on. But when I'm really acting in her name, I have no dark blemish against anyone.
Yeah.
It's just no.
Enough, no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that feels so strong.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the measures in which I could stand for that, you know, like get naked and just lie down on the road.
Yeah. Yes.
I wouldn't fight anyone who tried to move me, but I certainly wouldn't help them.
Yes. Yeah.
I would just be dead weight.
And there is a saying, behavior breeds behavior. So if you meet, and I think it was it Einstein or somebody said, you know, we can't solve a problem from the same mindset that created it.
Yes.
So we have to find new ways of being, basically, of meeting these challenges. And then, you know, last time around I went all out, you know, and charged into battle, and it just comes straight back at you.
Yeah.
So this time round, it's a no, but we handle it in a different way.
Yeah. I was listening to Anne Baring
Yes.
this week.
Mm.
She was talking about nuclear power, how the masculine of our species really reached its zenith point when it thought about and then actually manifested the splitting of the atom.
Yes.
You know, you could say that was the masculine at his most brilliant. I don't mean men, the masculine amongst us. And with that innovation, we decided to make nuclear weaponry and nuclear power.
Yeah.
And Anne was saying the feminine amongst us now must come up with something to balance where the masculine went. And even in her argument, it was suggested that no overseeing power thought for one moment that man might split the atom. And so something shifted in our consciousness. Something unpredictable happened. And the feminine must match that in some way.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not quite sure what that is
yet. I'm
yet.
not, but we are, you know,
yes,
we're all capable of it.
I can smell it.
Out of left field.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that was just such an inspiring conversation. And you can find her talks and lectures on nuclear war. She's done a great one called Nuclear War, an Absolute Evil.
Yeah.
Not what it sounds, but a thoroughly good and very educated read.
Yeah, and she's a wonderful lady.
She's amazing. Yeah.
So, someone who is taking their first teetering steps, what about some practices to help sustain them? Because it's difficult. It's not easy, particularly when those around you are not particularly supportive.
Yes. Well, this is where, again, another mentor of mine is Andrew Harvey. He says it's very important that we create little networks of grace.
Yeah. That
we do have, you know, the nearest and dearest 2 or 3 really solid friends and comrades who can keep our energy up.
Yes.
Because when we first find our cause to get behind, again, you're going to probably be the only man or woman standing at first.
Yeah.
And you must have this little incubation team around you, because otherwise you'll just go back to sleep again. You'll think it's too much. You can't possibly do anything anyway, so why bother trying? And that is where you need your community to be there in those moments. Another great thing he says is to set your alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning. Get out of bed, start meditating with the question, what is it about the world that breaks my heart the most?
Wow, that's a big one.
Love. It's what breaks, what totally puts the dagger in this, because you're seeing the destruction, you're seeing the degradation, you're seeing something so beautiful go into extinction. What would that be?
Yes.
And that very next morning, and how can you action on that? What group can you join? What can you start creating in your local community?
Even if it's only writing a blog post or putting up a Facebook post, or, you know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, start to put a line in the sand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I truly thought, that's the right word, thought, my work would be animals. And maybe it will at some point. But what's actually really come rushing in, because I did say yes to the fierce feminine, and that is like covert spiritual teachers and teachings. So spiritual establishments that aren't actually doing the good work.
Yes, they're not aligned with their message.
All of a sudden, this has come my way, and it hasn't been easy.
No,
And I've had to stand up and tell the truth of things like absolutely no to have happened and are still happening.
Yeah.
And this has set fire to quite a few communities, also coming out and ousting what they know to be true.
Yes.
And this is just as important.
Yes.
When someone's on that spiritual path, you're so delicate and vulnerable. And if you're a spiritual teacher, you have a huge responsibility to serve that person. And that's where you're serving the Grail.
Yeah.
That student, that young person who's come to you for guidance, that's the Grail.
Yes.
You must treat that one
with
utmost dignity and respect.
Yeah.
And do your very best to deliver on your word.
Yes. That's where it becomes very important that you stand for what you know is right.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And I've done a wonderful interview with a lady who is doing just that, helping to heal some of the real problems that there are with the health of our children.
Yes.
Yeah. And it sort of starts at that level.
Yes.
If we can't nurture the young shoots.
Yes.
Yeah. Now there's something that you said about finding people to sort of stand with you, and I notice this with some of the clients that I have, is that often as they begin to change, some of their friends or maybe family start to try to pull them back.
Yes. Yes.
And you need to be aware. You need to be very, very aware when that's happening, and if only for a short time, actually put certain friends to one side, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. You can always keep those friends for, a little bit of fun,
yes,
a little bit of leisure activity at the weekend, just to keep that friendship going if that's what you're choosing. But you must be diligent in inviting in, and you might only find those friends at the beginning online.
Yeah.
Because my mentors, I don't get the opportunity to meet them in the body.
Yes, yes.
Email exchange, it's Skype, it's Zoom. So yes, your little network of grace might be online at first.
Yeah.
And then eventually one or two or three will roll in physical form. And there you go. You've got your friendship in the flesh.
Yes. I call it my tribe.
Yeah.
Basically, and little by little, and it has taken a long time, because at first I was very much on my own, but little by little I started to meet other like-minded people, and it becomes much easier. The path becomes much easier when that happens.
Yes.
But I mean, that's part of what hopefully this telesummit is offering out to people. I mean, there are wonderful people like you, all sorts of potential mentors who can help people and guide them. And it's where you start. And yes, find the groups online that resonate with you and join them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if you are a guide for someone, you will need a guide.
Yes.
Make sure it's a tag team.
Yes, absolutely. A wonderful thing that somebody said to me a long time ago was that we all have the potential to be angels, and no one can ascend without reaching down a hand to someone below and helping them up.
Yes. Yes.
And I thought that was wonderful, because the reciprocity of that is, somebody helps you up, but you help somebody up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anaiya, wonderful. Your message, as ever, is superb. Do you have any final sort of words of wisdom or anything you want to share with people?
No, apart from just to summarize and remind everyone the importance of gathering. This is our greatest opportunity. This is also the greatest threat to that old diminishing world. We must keep gathering. We must keep sharing. We must keep bolstering one another into that you can do it attitude.
And
also balance all of that serious work that we're doing with an equal amount of joy and playfulness.
That lifts the energy.
Yes, keep our spirits up.
And be aware of what might be pulling your energy down, and detach. Detach.
It's bigger than just the comfortability of our own lives. We are paving a way absolutely for the generations to come. Let's not leave them with the matrix. Let's give them a good stepping off platform into the way the feminine sees her creation for real.
And it's our responsibility, every single one of us. It's our responsibility to make sure that happens. It's not the government's or some nameless somebody else. It's you and me. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your wisdom.
Thank you so much for the questions that led to this conversation. So delicious to speak with someone, on the page.
Wonderful. Well, as I said to everyone at the beginning, your website is a wonderful resource. So if people are seeking more, go there and have a look. And I know you give regular talks as well, to sort of help people along and help them wake up and tune in. So well, thank you for joining us, and thank you to everybody who's been with us today. We look forward to you joining us again tomorrow, where we have someone else who is going to surprise and delight you with the wisdom that they have to offer. But for now, thank you, Anaiya.
Thank you.